Hello and welcome. Thank you guys so much for having me here today. My name is Ashley Nazaire and I am the CEO and founder of Nazaire Accounting and Tax. I started this journey about 7 years ago. This is a profession I love, and I am here today to talk to you guys about financial literacy. A big part of my job is constantly being able to provide my clients with the tools and knowledge to have a more successful life. And what that means is when I have a client who comes in and maybe they want to start a new business, or maybe they're just here for tax prep, we go through things. We go through the basics, what is your standard deduction? What is considered wages? What is earned income? What kind of business entity do you want to create? And sometimes people do not know these things, and that is a big part of my job, and why I love it so much is being able to give you guys give back knowledge, give back feedback, and figure out what is the best route for you. So today I want to talk about starting a business, and this is important in financial literacy because starting a business, although it's not a real estate property, it is ownership. You have ownership in yourself. You have the ability to build a brand, give back to others, and build generational wealth. Right now, let's talk about building a business. What does that entail? 1, we need to figure out a business name. 2, what is the purpose of your business? So many people want to get into a business but don't know what their purpose is. Everything in life is about strategy. If there is no strategy, you will spend money, waste money, and that is not our goal here. Our goal is to build, and build. So with that said, we always need to strategize. So we go through the business name, we go through the purpose, then we talk about the kind of entity you want to be. You can either be a sole proprietorship, a LLC, which is a limited liability company, a S Corp, or C Corp. The S Corp and C Corps are generally for larger businesses. They own stock ownership, and they have advantages that a sole prop or a limited liability company do not. A limited liability company is usually the best starter entity to begin with. Why? Because it separates the liability. Your personal and business liabilities remain separate. If the business takes on a loan, that will not affect your personal assets if, God forbid, something happens where the business cannot pay the loan back. With a sole proprietorship, everything is together. What the business owes, you owe. What you owe, the business owns. Either way, it can be taken away if something goes wrong. If we move on to the S Corp and C Corp entities, here is where things get more admin burden, but they're worthwhile depending on the company you have. An S Corp gives you a backdoor in a sense, where you are not paying what is called self-employment tax. This is a separate tax on your tax returns that is not the federal income tax that you always get taxed for, or the state income tax. This is a completely different tax. And with an S Corp and C Corp, what happens is the officers of the company are allowed to take distributions, but they must also pay salary and wages. So here, if you're paying salary and wages to yourself as the business owner, you can also, in addition, let's just say you want to take out $20,000 from the business, you can take that $20,000 out and it avoids the 15.3% self-employment tax. 15% on $20,000 is a lot of money. Not to mention if it travels onto your federal income tax return, which is otherwise known as the 1040, it is not only going to be taxed self-employment, you still have federal income tax you have to pay on that as well. So with an S Corp status, you can avoid the self-employment when it travels onto your 1040 and only have to pay the federal income tax depending on your tax bracket. This is an amazing tool. It's something good to note as your business continues to. So moving forward, once you've decided what business entity type you want to be, you should get an EIN number. But even before that, you should go and look up in the database if the name you want for your business is available. You must make sure of this, because if you get an EIN number and you associate that EIN with a name that has already been taken, you have to repeat the process from the beginning. So, 1, database search. Look up your business name. 2, if your business name is available, you should incorporate. So in New York City, there is a articles of incorporation that needs to be done with the New York State. Once that is done, then you should get your EIN number. And this is to avoid any name changes, the spelling, if you capitalize something, if there's a dot between 2 letters, it must be exactly the same on your articles of incorporation and on your EIN letter. Once you have your EIN letter, your business is ready to go. You are officially incorporated. Congratulations, you have started your business. But this is not where it stops. This is great. Now we need to move on. Once you decide to create this business, you should open up a business bank account. A business bank account should not commingle funds. It should be strictly for your business. And what that means is when you go to the bank and you want to open up this business bank account, they will require your ID, an operating agreement, and your articles of incorporation. If you do not have these documents, they will not open a bank account for you. So with that said, let's move on. Congratulations, you have now officially created your business. So the thousands of dollars start coming in, you're spending money here, you're writing checks to contractors, you're doing all this, bringing in money, money going out. A big part of having a business is being able to be organized and maintaining proper books. And what that means is keeping track of all the income that comes in, as well as keeping track of all your expenses and deductions. And that goes from advertising to office supplies, to office expense, to utilities, legal and professional fees, bank charges. The list goes on and on and on. But an important part of having a business is keeping track of your books, and that is part of the bigger topic of bookkeeping services. At Nazaire Accounting, we offer this consultation, and then we move forward to see if bookkeeping is required. If your transactions are minimal, we tend to not offer the service, but if you have a larger set of transactions going on each month, we suggest that you do take on bookkeeping so we can provide you on a quarterly or monthly basis how your business is doing. It is a snapshot into where is the business right now. And this is an important tool for any business owner to know exactly where they stand at any given time or point. And this happens when you keep good books. Bookkeeping, that's what it is. It's mid-year now, and I always like to do a check-in with my clients. So I might say, hi, Mr. Johnson, how are you? I just wanted to do a check-in. Let's talk about how you've done for the first 2 quarters of the year. When we talk about the business, we look at income. We look at the overhead costs. Your overhead costs are all the expenses incurred for the business. When we look at the numbers, we tend to look and see if there are any taxes that need to be done. What that means is looking at estimated tax payments. If a business is expected to owe $1,000 in tax or more by the end of the year, you should make estimated tax payments. And these happen quarterly. So you would take all the income minus the overhead costs, taking into consideration what your standard deduction might be for the year, and also taking into consideration self-employment tax. When you find that number, you divide it by 4, and that's how you would make your payments. Let's move forward. Now it's the end of the year. You've made your tax payments throughout the year, and now we need to look at the business final numbers. where did we end? The business had a great year. It was a great run. Revenues were at $50,000. Expenses remained at $20,000. $30,000 profit, which is amazing. Now, when we take those profits, we take them onto your tax return, depending on your entity. If you are a single member LLC, you file a Schedule C. If you are a multi-member LLC, you are going to file a 1065. That 1065 creates K1s that then travel onto your personal return. What's so important to me is by the end of the year, I want my clients to be confident in the fact that they have started a business and have done everything correctly. Many people start a business and their accountants don't do the follow-up, they don't do the check-ins to make sure about taxes and how the business is doing. One important thing that sets me apart from the rest is that the service doesn't stop just at, hi, I would like to create a business. I tend to go a step further and check in on my clients constantly. If there is news about a certain industry, I might relay it onto my client because this is the industry they're in. Maybe they didn't know this. Maybe this will help their business get further in life. And I think it's very important that we don't just do the job that is being given, but to go above and beyond, because in the long run, by helping others, we help ourselves. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Thank you for listening. I hope you take away something really important here. I would love to talk to all of you more if you want to start a business, if there is some accounting techniques you're looking at and want to take on. I'd love to talk to you. Please see my handle below if you would like to DM me. I have also put my email address and contact information. Bye.